by EVGA.
So it's here. The day has finally arrived. The EVGA GeForce GTX 680 is finally here, and with it are a ton of new technology features and performance. So before we get to that, let's go ahead and open up this box and see what we get on the inside. So here's the EVGA GeForce GTX 680 box. So let's go ahead and open this up. Alright, so right on top here you can see that we have an EVGA user guide. And we have a driver DVD, and we have a new EVGA case badge. We also have a quick installation guide and a note about the PCIe power connectors that this card will need. Also, we have a small note about PCI Express 3.0 compatibility and a new sticker set. Alright, and finally we have an EVGA full-size poster. So you get a pretty cool bundle inside the box. Alright, so now it's time to look at the EVGA GeForce GTX 680. And here it is. So one of the first things you'll notice about this card is it uses two 6-pin PCIe power connectors. That is because this card is extremely power efficient. For the output connectors, we have a standard DVI-I and a DVI-D. Do not install the DVI to VGA dongle on the DVI-D as it will not fit. Also included is a DisplayPort 1.2 connector and HDMI. And yes, you can use all 4 of these at the same time. In fact, you can even run 3 monitors in NVIDIA Surround plus another monitor as an accessory display. So the type of fan that the EVGA GeForce GTX 680 uses is an external exhaust fan. This type of fan is extremely good at pushing out the hot air outside of your system. And when you put the cards in SLI, both cards will help exhaust hot air outside of the system. The EVGA GeForce GTX 680 supports up to 4 SLI. And speaking of features, there is a long list. EVGA will also be extending the popular Hydro Copper line to the GeForce GTX 680. The new Hydro Copper block uses compression fittings which give it a really clean look, and of course an EVGA backplate. The detailed specs are equally as impressive as the features. We're talking 1,536 CUDA cores, 6,000 MHz memory, and over 1 GHz GPU base clock. You may notice that now there are 2 clock speeds listed for the GPU clock, a base clock and a boost clock. The base clock runs at 1006 MHz and the boost clock runs at 1058 MHz. The new feature of the GeForce GTX 680 is GPU Boost, and what this is able to do is able to dynamically change the clock speed depending on the application. So for example, a very stressful application, think of like a 3D stress test, may run at the base clock. But a game or a benchmark may run at the boost clock, or in some cases even higher. This really helps let you squeeze every last bit of performance out of the GPU, but for more information on GPU boost and just overclocking the GTX 680 in general, I recommend you check out the EVGA Precision GPU Boost video. So another cool technology of the GeForce GTX 680 is called Adaptive VSync. So to understand Adaptive VSync, let's talk about standard vertical sync first. Vertical sync or VSync eliminates tearing by locking the game's frame rate to your monitor's refresh rate. But if the game's frames per second are not able to match your monitor's refresh rate, the frames per second will automatically be cut in half. So this may mean 60 or 30 or even 15 frames per second. What Adaptive VSync does is it's a smarter type of vertical sync that it turns off VSync when your frame rate is below your monitor's refresh rate. So you still prevent the tearing, but you don't get the traditional type of stuttering that is usually associated with vertical sync. And another new feature, NVIDIA FXAA, which is known as Fast Approximate Anti-Aliasing, is a post-process effect that's found in a lot of games like Red Orchestra, Battlefield 3, Skyrim, Mass Effect 3, is now available as an NVIDIA control panel option. So this opens it up for way more games than it was initially supported on. Along with the GTX 680 introduction, EVGA also introduced a new form of anti-aliasing. It is called TXAA, and it gives better image quality than 8x multi-sampling at a performance hit of only 2x. This new form of anti-aliasing will be used in upcoming titles and will be the ultimate balance of performance and image quality. With the EVGA GTX 680 introduction, EVGA has also introduced a brand new version of EVGA Precision. It's called EVGA Precision X. And here it is. This overclocking software was designed from the ground up for next generation features like GPU Boost. If you want to learn more about EVGA Precision and or GPU Boost, I recommend you check out the video that we dedicated exclusively for this. One new feature that we will talk a bit about though is frame rate target, and what this does is let me set a target frame rate that I want my application to run at. So let's just say I have an application that runs at excessive frame rates and I only want it to run at 60 frames per second. I can set a target frame rate of 60 frames per second and the GeForce GTX 680 will automatically adjust the voltage and clock speed to match my frame rate. This can really help save power, especially in older game titles. So now let's take a look at some 3D Mark 11 performance. I ran 3D Mark 11 at the performance setting and scored 9,525 points on a mildly overclocked Core i7 processor at 4.2 GHz. And you can see here, if I look at the trending data on the EVGA Precision X, my maximum GPU clock was a bit over 1100, so you can see GPU boost is really taking effect in 3D Mark. So there you have it, the EVGA GeForce GTX 680. I'm sure that we can all agree this is an awesome product. So for more information on this product, please visit the EVGA website at www.evga.com, or if you want to learn more about GPU boost and how to overclock the GeForce GTX 680, make sure to check out the video right here. And so there you have it. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.